morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Yvonne of Amaze Yourself International Coaching, and this is the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. This show is all for business owners who are looking to work less and live more. And we all have that experience of the shiny object syndrome. You see something and you go like, oh, that can help me. And the promises are out of this world. So before you know it, you embark on something new. This show brings you the best experts, and they tell you not only what they do, but they also provide you tips how you can use what they do and do the things in less time. I'm very excited because today I have a very special guest here with me, Crunch Ranjani. I'm not sure, did I say it right now or wrong again?
It's Crunch Ranjani.
There you go. Well, that's for better emphasis. Welcome. Amazing to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Good. Can you please introduce yourself to the guests so that people know who you are and then we take it from there?
I am Crunch and I am a copywriter and content creator for purpose-driven entrepreneurs and change makers. And I specialize in writing articles, blogs, email newsletters, web copy, and social media content for busy professionals who want to simplify their content and amplify their impact. So I'm super excited to be here and to talk more about simplifying your content so that you can amplify your impact, be more of the CEO of your life.
I love that. I really love that you're saying, simplify your content, but amplify the impact. I think we all want that. And it's actually this morning I had a coaching call with some of my coachees, and the topic was, as a lot of times, social media and the time it really takes, because somehow it takes up a lot of our time, even when we're not a social media specialist as you. So that's very fascinating. So let's dive straight in. Tell me how come that it takes up so much of our time and it's actually frustrating.
Well, that's a very good question. And it is something that I think a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs struggle with because they feel like they constantly need to be on social media to, show up and be visible and engage with their audience and, create new content for their audience. And then they get sucked into this idea that every single piece of content that they put out on social media, on their blogs, on their websites, or wherever it is that they're sharing information, they get sucked into this idea that every single piece of content needs to be new and unique. And yes, it does need to be new for the platform in order for it to show up, because if you're resharing the same thing over and over again, the platform realizes that this is just a reshared piece of content. But the platform is also, whatever platform you're on, it's also not that intelligent that it can't detect when you're repurposing your content. So that's something that I highly encourage all business owners and entrepreneurs to do, is to repurpose your content. And what that basically means is to take content that you've already created, refresh it in some way, whether that's creating a new image. Canva is brilliant. There's so many millions of templates for you to choose from. Choose one of those, update the graphics, and put the same caption and upload it again. The algorithm or the platform will think, oh, this is a fresh piece of content, but it's actually taken you 3 minutes to, copy and paste the caption over again. Or, a lot of people kind of do podcast episodes, or they are guests on Instagram lives or Facebook lives, and they're sharing content in so many great ways, and then they do it once and then they forget about it, and then they think, oh no, what am I going to share today, right? While they have this great story of information, and you can like easily pull out little snippets or pull out little sound bites, or even just like a quote from there, and use that as your social media content. So the idea that all your content needs to be new and unique is, I think, a myth, a misconception. And once we get over ourselves and think that we can't share the same thing over and over again, I think it's going to make our lives so much easier and, reduce that stress for us.
Yes, I love that. Stress reduction and time saving, it's really music to my ears. I love it. I want to, Well, how do you know whether, because you also said it's not just time saving, it's also making a bigger impact. So how do you know what makes the biggest impact? Because I think that's why many business owners have the idea, okay, it needs to be new, or my audience has slightly changed, or my service offering has slightly changed, and then they changed. They feel like they need to change the whole message again. So how do you know what makes the biggest impact?
Well, I like to tell my clients to check your statistics or check like your insights, right? Like go into Instagram and it tells you like, okay, this many people saw this post or this many people interacted with it, and you can choose pieces of content that have made like some sort of impact. But also, like I like to tell people to check your instinct and to figure out like what is the kind of content that you think your audience needs to hear, right? Because sometimes, especially when we're working, so a lot of clients that I work with operate in like the DEI space, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're talking about things that not everybody wants to hear, but it is stuff that people need to hear. So sometimes the best metric of what needs to make an impact or what needs to be shared over and over again is not something that has performed very well, because we know that algorithms are suppressing things that are controversial, or
Yeah.
things that do not agree with the general worldview, right? So, but some conversations need to be had, So I would say like check your statistics and like yes, do reshare or repurpose content that has performed very well in terms of statistics, but also like ask yourself like what is the content that my audience needs to hear, even if they are not ready to hear it. Like whether you're a coach or a business consultant, or you are a service provider, there are certain things that your clients might need to hear that they might not be ready to hear, and hearing it over and over again kind of normalizes it for them, so that it doesn't become so outrageous when you're talking about it, and they get used to the idea. And I think these are pieces of content that we should be sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that you say that sometimes controversial opinions are repressed, but I also believe that if you want to stand out more, you really need to be vocal about what you believe in. And often, if I look at my clients, that's one thing they struggle with, because it is many of my clients have very firm beliefs in what they believe in, what they stand for, in what they help their clients with. That's one thing. But then it's another thing to really, scream that on top of to everybody. And then I think there's often a mismatch, that they feel very strongly about something which might be perceived as controversial, or my client think it might be perceived as controversial, because there might be a mismatch as well. And that's why they hold back. So what would be your advice to those that are listening right now, and say, my message might be controversial, so how do I go about it?
Well, I think you have to ask yourself like, is your message important to you, and how important is it to you to overcome that fear in order to share that message? Because I've been there, like 2 years ago I was not talking about anything about what I believed in terms of like diversity or equity or inclusion or anti-oppression, and I would have been so freaked out about even saying any of these words on a platform like this. But what I came to realize is that my fear is not as important as the people that I need to hear this message is, like I need to reach these people that I want to work with. And, being able to share my message is more important than my fear. So I'm prioritizing sharing my message over my fear, and, taking that leap of faith in knowing that the right people will hear my message. This message will resonate with the kind of people that I want to work with. And there will be naysayers, there will be people who do not agree with this, and that's fine. You can go your own way. I do not want to work with you if you don't believe in the same things as I do. And I think you just have to ask yourself like, which of these values or goals or aims or whatever it is that you of your message that you are feeling fearful around sharing, which of these are more important than your fear?
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's so true, right? Because we think, oh, we're not sharing it because they might not like it. But the thing is, if it's truly what you believe in, what you stand for, what your values are, like you're saying, diversity, inclusion, equity is something that you feel very strongly about. Me as well. So it's almost as if you don't agree to that, that's fine. We don't have to agree, but we're very most likely not a match made in heaven, because this is
Mhm.
just something that I stand for. So I'm truly respectful of you, but we're not going to gel. That's very clearly. And
Exactly.
yeah, I like how you say that, sometimes you have to overcome your fear when the message is very important. Yeah, I like that a lot. Thanks. I think that's a good one. So we already answered the number one. You tip to save time, which is repurposing of the content. So I really like it. But tell us, why do you do what you do? How did you wake up one morning and decided, okay, I am, this is my calling? What happened?
That's a fun question. I don't think anybody actually like wakes up and decides like, yes, I want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe they do.
Well,
They do. I don't know. I kind of fell into it by accident. What happened was I was traveling, and I have been traveling since 2013. I actually just celebrated my 9th year anniversary of travel anniversary a few days ago. And I started traveling with my savings, and then eventually I ran out of money. And at that time, a friend of mine in Costa Rica approached me and said, "Hey, Crunchy, I've seen your travel blog, and I know you're a good writer. Would you be interested in writing some content for me?" And I had no idea about like online business or writing content or anything really, apart from the fact that I love writing and I have written many things in my life, maybe not in a professional or paid capacity, but it is something that I have dedicated many hours of my life to doing. So when this opportunity came my way, I took it and decided to see where it would take me. And, over time, by building my network and saying yes to new opportunities and, exploring like what um, direction my business is taking me in, as well as like what clients are asking me for. Just seeing the needs in the marketplace and being kind of just open to trying new things, taking new risks, and treating all of this as a big adventure and a big experiment also is how I ended up doing what I do today.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, sometimes they say the most powerful entrepreneurs are those born by coincidence, by accident, right? Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Well, I must say, I kind of woke up feeling like I want to have my own business. So, just so you know, but I have a background of a corporate career of over 25 years. So maybe there's a difference. I decided I want to be my own boss, and I want to pick my own clients. And so yeah, but I love that you just kind of rolled into it. And it's also, I think, if we talk about how to make it more easy, is to really do what you love to do and what you're good at. And whether you've done it in a more professional capacity or really just because you love it, it doesn't really matter. It is actually what really helps you to stand out and to be good at what you do. um, it's something that I always tell my clients when they get very busy, because when you have a company, you have so many things to do, and often we forget, what did it start with? What is it actually? What's my calling? What do I want to do? What did I get asked to do? And then we get so bogged down by all the other stuff that sometimes we don't even like it. And the stuff we don't like is really the stuff that you need to push out and need help with. So I think, content creation and social media marketing is one of the first things a lot of people think about, taking too much of my time, and they need people like you. So before I forget, where can people reach you?
You can get in touch with me via my website. I have a resource page for busy professionals and entrepreneurs to get some free resources on the resource page, which is crunchregeny.com/resources. You can also book a 15-minute Ask Me Anything content related kind of chat, where you bring me your content questions, or like if you have a piece of content that you would like expert help with, I can give you my 15 minutes of time to help you out there. Also, I'm active on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, sharing free content and resources with entrepreneurs about how to improve your content creation process, or how to plan better content, how to write a better headline, all these kind of tips and tricks that I use in my own work that I am happy to share with everyone. So give me a follow. And yeah, feel free to reach out and say that we got connected via this show. And I would be so excited to chat with you.
I love that. I love it. So if you're looking for great resources, now let me see what I can say it right. I'm already saying it wrong, most likely, because I'm thinking about it. Crunch, Ranjan, Jenny? No,
Ranjani.
Ranjani. Yes, there's the emphasis is wrong. Crunchranjani.com, and that's basically where they find you. And if they're looking for the goodies, they go to /resources. Great.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, one of my favorite questions, and I already know kind of what, how do you feel you are the CEO of your own life?
This is an excellent question. And I think I embody being the CEO of my life by kind of setting the rules by which I live my life. I mean, I'm 33 years old and I am, living my best life. I think I travel a lot. I am currently based in Mexico. I was born and raised in Singapore. And, in the last 6 months, I've traveled to Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines. And to me, this is what it means to be the CEO of your life, is to kind of live life on your own terms. And I know that like society tells me that as a woman of my age, I should be married, I should have kids, I should have a mortgage, I should have a car, should have a steady job. I mean, none of those things, or like very few of those things, are actually applicable to my life. And I'm very happy with it because I don't feel like these are the goals that I want for my life. So I think I'm the CEO of my life just by, breaking the boundaries that society has set on people who look and seem like me, and, the traditional path of doing things in a certain way. I've stepped out of that, and I'm excited to be, I think, a role model to people to show them that like there are alternative life paths available, and there are other ways of, running a business, or, working very few hours and living a sustainable lifestyle and traveling a lot, and all these kind of things that are important to me. And I'm being CEO of my life by embodying that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and I think your background is really appropriate with the world map there. I like it. No, I like it, and I think it's a really good thing to be vocal about as well, because you're right. It's almost as if society has so many written and unwritten rules, and especially, unfortunately, I feel for women. Because oh, you should be married. Oh, you should have children. Oh. And a lot of these rules, if we're also very honest, they're quite boring as well.
Right.
Oh my word. So yeah, I really think it's time to show it. One of my mottos is my life, my business, my way.
Awesome.
And I first had my rules, but I really don't like rules because rules have to be broken. So it's my way. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. And I love that you're already saying that you are embodying it, because that's often something that's missing. People, they go like, well, this is what I am, but they're not feeling it. They're not
Mhm.
radiating it. And you're like, well, this is it. It's
Yeah, I
good.
mean, I think a lot of people also like put off their happiness till a later date. Like, oh yeah, I will go on that world trip when I have made $30,000, or when I have paid off all my student debt, or when I've done this and that. But there is no guarantee that you're going to have tomorrow, right? Like, if you're not living the life that you want right now, there's no guarantee that you're going to do it tomorrow, or in the next week, or in the next year. So why not start today with like one small step in the right direction, right?
I love that. I love that. So I think that's a beautiful end. But just to be sure, is there anything else you want to touch on or that we didn't discuss before we wrap it up?
Just a quick reminder that even though you should show up on social media or share content consistently, that doesn't mean that you have to constantly be on social media. This is something I think people just get confused about. Like they think about consistency and they think, oh no, I need to always be on social media. That's not true. You can be consistent just showing up once a week, every single Tuesday at 11 a.m., whatever it is, right? Whatever works for you, find a rhythm that works for you and stick to it. And that's how you get consistent, not by just being on social media constantly, because that can lead to stress and burnout. And that's not how to be a CEO of your life.
I love that. Thank you so much, Franz. And for everybody's watching, see you next time.